Hi guys, so this is the first original palette that Sophie came out with. As you can see, it is in pristine, immaculate condition because I haven't used it. As soon as I start using it, it's going to have fingerprints everywhere. But yeah, I really like the matte cream colour here. And on the one that I've just shown you, what she's done, what she's incorporated is obviously it's rose gold, and then she's put the matte cream here, so they kind of match. And then obviously on this one is the rose gold. So yeah, you get 24 eyeshadows in this palette, and you get the same amount, I believe. I think I've looked into this before, and I believe you get the same amount of eyeshadow in each. Yeah, 24 times 0.03 ounces, 24 times 1.1 grams. Yes, actually, might be a little bit more in eyeshadow that you get in this one to that one. But yeah, this is what it looks like. Obviously, you get your little plastic sheet with the names on. I don't really like these. I'm always losing them, if I'm being honest. I really need to make a conscious effort to obviously save them, just so I can refer back to the names when I'm doing blog posts or Instagram posts, things like that. If you're not following me on Instagram, like, all my links are down below, but my Instagram is beautywithandrea_. Yeah, so if you want to go and check my Instagram out, even, I would really appreciate that. But for now, let's get into the eyeshadows. There's 4 rows in this palette, because obviously you do get more eyeshadows, and there are 24. So you also get the big mirror like you did in the previous palette that I showed you. Now this, like I said, this came out last year. The other palette only came out this year, and I bought them both together. I wasn't going to get this palette just because it's mainly neutral eyeshadows and golden tones, and I've got so many palettes like this. But then I looked into it a little bit further and saw that you did get a lot of red toned, you got duochrome eyeshadows in there, purples and plums, and I thought, why not get it? So I got this one, and then Revolution came out with Tammy Clark's and Carmi's, so I got them, and there's a couple of others that now I want, just because I love getting collaboration eyeshadow palettes. And yes, so we'll see if I get the other 2. If I do get the other 2, I don't think it will be immediate. I think it will be probably over the next couple of months, just because I've got a lot of eyeshadow palettes that I want to review for YouTube and obviously for my blog as well. So yeah, let's get into this. I don't want this video to be super long. As I said about the other one, I will be doing eye looks with this. Again, maybe 3 looks out of 1 palette. So yeah, I'll just go off camera and swatch these, and I'll be back in a sec. Right, so there's 7 eyeshadows in each row. So in the first row there is 2 shimmers and no, there's 6 in each row. So there's 2 shimmers and 4 mattes. Now some of these matte eyeshadows you're probably not going to be able to see on my pale complexion, just because a lot of them match. So first we have this white eyeshadow, and it's called Penguin. Don't know if you're going to be able to see that. And then we have a really light brown, which would make a good kind of like transition shade, I guess, and that one is called Pancakes. Then we have those 2 are matte. Then we have a shimmer which is called Fairy Lights, and that would make a really good inner corner highlight and brow bone highlight as well, if you like to use a shimmer highlight on your brow bone, that is. Then we have Pink Champagne, which is this one here. That's also a shimmer. Then we have another really light brown, and it's called Iced Coffee. And then last but not least, we have my favourite matte from the top row, which is called Cup of Tea, which is a really nice transition shade as well. That would just, if you want to use Pancakes, which is a light one, then you could just go in with that to deepen it out, with Cup of Tea to deepen it out. But there are all the shadows from the first row. So now I'm going to go into the second row, and I'll be back in a second. On the second row we've got 4 shimmers this time and 2 mattes, so they've kind of mix things up a bit, which is good. I love my shimmers, and as long as you've got the basic matte transition shades, I'm not really bothered about what matte eyeshadows they put in a palette. I think I must be the only one out there that thinks that way. If you are like me, leave me a comment. But yeah, most people that I talk to actually prefer matte eyeshadows to shimmers, but I just love putting a shimmer on my eyelid. I don't often use all matte eyeshadows unless it's for a review on a palette, which I have got a palette that I did that with, so I will be doing a separate video to show you the palette that I use for that. Take a breath, Andrea, just take a breath. Right, so the second row starts off with Grow Old, which is this really nice bronze eyeshadow. Now there's quite a lot of bronze toned eyeshadows in this palette, which I don't actually mind thinking about it, just because I do use a lot of golden eyeshadows. I have got a lot in my collection, that's no lie, so I don't really need them in this palette, and that's why I wasn't going to get it originally, but I do actually like that they're in there. This one's more a neutral palette, where the other Sophx palette is more of a bolder statement palette, which I like the fact that I've got both. So then we've got another golden toned eyeshadow here, which is slightly lighter than the previous one, and that one's called Sparks Fly. And then we have a darker bronze, I would say it is, which is that one there, and that one's called Smoky Bronze. So yeah, it's a definitely smoky bronzed eyeshadow. And then we have a really nice plum colour, which is called Mixed Berries, which is that one. It's kind of like a duochrome eyeshadow, I would say. And then we have the last 2 mattes in, well, not the last 2, but the 2 matte eyeshadows in this row. So we've got Tiramisu, which is another matte brown, and then we've got an orange toned one, which is called Peaches, which I absolutely love. So yeah, I really like that row of eyeshadows. So I'm going to swatch the third row, and I'll be back. So now we've moved on to the third row. So we're starting with this gorgeous orange colour here. It's darker than the peaches colour. It's called Cloudberry, and it reminds me of Sweet and Sour or Running Late out of the other Sophx palette. I'll have to compare them against each other once I've finished this video and just show you. Then we have Pumpkin, which is this one here. This is a red based eyeshadow, really nice. Those 2 eyeshadows would look really nice together, I think. Those 2 are mattes. Then we have Pine Tree, which is a shimmer. It's kind of like a khaki green. No, I would say it's a forest green, that. And then we have another, I think that's another shimmer. Yeah, it's a duochrome shimmer, this one. And it obviously looks brown on the arm, but when you look at it in the palette, it looks green. So it's got green and then it shifts into brown. I don't know if you can see that there, but it is really pretty. I can't wait to use that one, and that one is called Petrol. Then we have a matte brown. It's a matte brown, but it also has grey undertones. It's almost like a contour colour. And then we have, I think this is the last one on the third row, so that one's called Pug, and then the last one is called Danger, which again is a red based eyeshadow. So yeah, there are a lot of red based eyeshadows and obviously bronze shimmers and things like that. So if you don't want too many of them in your palette, then I don't know if this one will be for you. But let's move on to the fourth and final row, and then we'll talk about that in more detail. Right, so now we're on the fourth and final row of this palette. So the first one is this red based eyeshadow, and that one's called Strawberry Sweets. Then we have Festive Flame here. Then we have Copper Coin. This Copper Coin is shimmer, yeah. Copper Coin and Festive Flame. So those two there are the only shimmers at this row, in this row should I say. And then we have Mug Cake, which is this dark brown. Then we have this even darker brown, which is called Rosewood. And then we have the black, which is Nightmare. Now this black isn't as pigmented as the black that was in her other palette, but it is still pretty pigmented. It really is a nice black to use compared to some of the blacks that I've tried in the Revolution palettes. But overall, I love Makeup Revolution as a brand. I think their eyeshadow palettes are amazing. I've got most of them. There are still quite a few that I need to get, but I have got most of them. But yeah, I really do like this palette, which has surprised me because I didn't think I would get use out of it. And I know just by looking at the eyeshadows, I will get quite a bit of use out of it because there is variation. At first I thought it was more of a neutrals eyeshadow palette, and yes, there are a lot of neutral colours like the browns and the shimmer colours, the golden tones. Now they are, that would be classed as a neutral palette, but then we move down here and you've got a really nice plum colour there, you've got the khaki colour there, then the petrol shade here, and then you've got your red tones and your orange tones. So you could actually, you know, create some really great looks with it. You don't need both of those palettes. If I was going to suggest or recommend what palette to get, for me personally, because I've got so many neutral palettes, I would definitely suggest you get the what's it called, the Extra Spice palette, just because it is such a beautiful palette. I mean, that one, over that, I'm not even holding them right, that one over that one, I just think that there is more variation, more coloured looks that you could get with this. But if you're not into colour, if you're into more neutral looks and you don't have a lot of neutral palettes, then yeah, I would definitely suggest this. They blend really well from what I can gather. I know that the Extra Spice ones blend really well. These, just when I swatched them, they were really smooth. They didn't feel chalky. The palette is only £10 as well. I think it's a great Christmas or birthday present for a loved one if they're just getting into makeup. So yeah, I would definitely recommend, my voice is going now through talking so much, I would definitely recommend this, but I would for me personally, I would probably get more use out of the Extra Spice palette. But yeah, this is kind of like a first impressions. I will be doing some looks with it, as I've said, 3 looks maybe out of a palette. But yeah, this is it for now, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.